All right, Twitch fam, let me get this picture smaller, and then we can get this party started. I have not figured out, man, open broadcast. Nope, it's still not right. I was going to say open broadcast system. OBS is almost perfect. If I could only get the popping out of my system, like when I am talking, like if I move, it'd be like 30 seconds of dead space. And I don't like that because I could be saying something important. And sometimes I do. And the video silences it. Like, for example, I'm talking and it'd be, pops of quietness, and I'm like, that's whack. But I also was about to say, I'm happy with this system here, but it don't do screen share like it used to. And that's the pits. Okay, so I'm sharing on there. I might turn the music down just a pinch. Let me get over to YouTube and get that set up. YouTube. I need to, in addition, I need to let me take these earmuffs off. How fresh and timely is the content? Come on, now it's not time for a survey. YouTube, it's time for me to go in here and be live. I need to see if I can hear myself. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Ollie, accent free. LA, are you there? Yep. I am present. I can hear myself. Next, I need to minimize this, put the title in so you guys can know what I'm talking about today. Today is Thursday. I was about to say October. Not yet. But the way these streets looking outside, is about to be Halloween every day. It's a pity and a shame. YouTube studio. Let me just breathe, take my time, get in here and go. Today I will be talking about the Saturn cars. Saturn car, LA TV. The date is 08-21-2025. Y'all remember the Saturn car? Let me get the correct spelling for it. I'm talking about the Saturn cars today. I miss those cars, man. I miss them a lot. Let me find my notes. There's one of the cars. Saturn. S-A-T. It's spelled S-A-T-U-R-N. S-A-T-U-R-N spelled Saturn. Y'all remember the Saturn? I'm talking about that today. T-A-L-K-I-G. About this today. Yay! So the Saturn cars, and I'll put some hashtags in here. And in the description, remembering the Saturn cars. R-E-M-B-E-R-I-N-G. The Saturn cars. I wonder if they were American made. I'm about to find all that out because I haven't talked about these cars in a long time. Remembering is spelled, come on, Grammarly, wake up. R-E-M-E-M-B-E-R-I-N-G spells remembering. There. And I have to put in my hashtags. It's Thursday today. It's Thursday. Yes, I made it through another week. Basically, how are you guys doing today? We have Paler Noor, we have Kevin Guy, and Charles Cartel. What's going on? I'm still setting up my I was about to say setting up my thesis. I'm still setting up my description box. Today I'll be talking about the Saturn cars. Now I'm gonna put hashtags in here because I still think they work. Saturn cars. And let me look for my hashtags. Good morning, guys. It is 5:06 over here where I'm at on the glorious Thursday morning. Not one Saturday morning, but Thursday morning. I thought I had hashtags ready. By the time I looked for my preset hashtags, I could have had them all typed in, right? So let me just go on and start from scratch and put all these in here. Today I'm talking about Saturn cars. Right now I'm putting in my hashtags in the description. Why is that moving? I have a screen on. Let me pause that. That's not supposed to be playing. Yeah, so I'm talking about Saturn cars, how cute they are. How you guys doing? AAGT in the house. Saipayo, Ian or Ian. What's going on? So yeah, wow, there's a lot of you in here this morning. Thanks for coming in. I started on time. Rhombus Rubus, what's going on? Hello, lovely human to you. Thank you for the digital hugs. Shouts out to Rhombus Rubus. Thanks for the digital hugs. I appreciate that. Cars from space. No, it's actually a name brand of a car. And who knows, maybe the idea did come from someone from space. But those are really cute cars that I like. I wish I could share my screen with y'all so y'all can see it. But if you type in Saturn cars, you'll be able to see them. And they're so cute. Wow, we've got at oh, you guys are talking amongst yourselves. Happy birthday to you guys. Good morning. Let me get my hashtags in here so it can help with everything. Saturn cars. Saturn. SATURN CARS. Cool. I'm typing good morning. I really think that hashtags work, so I'm piling them in here up to 30. I put good morning in there. Goodbye. Wow, I'm typing really fast, guys. I'm typing really fast. Yay. My typing skills are on one today in a good way. There. So let me save this portion and put the cool people. What's up, all my cool peeps? Thanks for coming in on this glorious Thursday morning. You could have been anywhere else, but you are here. And it really means a lot to me because this is social media. This is YouTube. We are in the YouTube metaverse. And out of the billions and probably trillions of people here, you're here with me hanging out. Jose G, we've got Fast Furious over here. What's going on? Duke Space Ranger was hey, I remember last Thursday's topic. I was talking about good morning to you. I was talking about pressure cooker horror stories. That was crazy. I'm gonna bring that back, but in October, so it can be a little bit more spooky, and I'll try to find some more pressure cooker horror stories in reference to that, you know. So I have Saturn cars, good morning, good vibes, LA. I have what other hashtags can I slip in here real quick? Let's see. I'm putting a few more hashtags in here and I'll get ready to get started. Shouts out to the people on Twitch and the figment of my imagination. I am streaming live streaming on Twitch as well, just to get that going so I can have fun over there too. A different kind of company, a different kind of car. Definitely. You'll get one if you want one when the time is right, Adrian. You don't want to rush it though, even though you may feel like you're in a rush. That's something you definitely don't want to rush. Good morning. Lovely to see you again. It's to drop the beat. What's going on? Drop the beat in the heezy. So let me see. I'm going to lead with that and put cars in here. Good morning and live stream. Thank you guys for the love. And oh yes, I'm using my brain this morning, guys. Isn't it a Christmas miracle? I'm finally starting to wake up and the weekend is just about over. Bum, bum, bum. It's my Thursday vibe today, my Thursday freestyle, where I just pick a random topic. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's fun, but it's when I'm on here as myself, not in a cow costume, not in the ladybug costume, and then on Fridays, Hercules the shark comes on. So this is the day where it's kind of like well, to me, it is my Friday. Do they still do casual Fridays at work anymore? Well, it's my casual Friday, so I'm a little more comfortable. Look at my shirt. Yay. Isn't it cute? What's going on, Cars 11? Thank you for coming in today. Cool peeps. There it is. I'm finished for now. Putting things in the description and hashtags. So y'all remember the Saturn cars? I'm talking about this today. Cars are cool. I don't know everything about cars inside and out, but I do. It's a great pastime to just look at cars, watch them. It's a great pastime. Let me minimize this. Put pull up my digital notes. Yes, I have digital notes because I am in the future now. And in the future, all you have are digital notes. That's a lie. I have digital notes and I have paper. It's getting thick. This is from 2 weeks of notes from 2 weeks of work, 2 weeks of notes from everything I've done on YouTube as far as videos, what I talked about, so I can keep in tab of what's going on. So that's about, I'm currently on page 8 right now, going on to page 9. So roughly it takes about 10 pages every 2 weeks. So that's 5 pages a week of me writing in notes so I can keep track of what's going on so I don't get lost. It's easy to get lost if I don't have anything set up. What's going on, Chile? My mod is in the heezy. Welcome in. What's going on, guys? Happy Thursday. I'm going to fix this light because it's kind of, y'all, I'm short, all right? So this light is beating down on my head because I moved the light above me because it was in the way. I realized this morning when I was setting up, LA, how about moving the light out of your eyes so you don't get a headache? I'm like, girl, that's so smart. So let me turn this down a little bit. I'm still shining, but that's okay. I hope it's not a distraction. So we have what is it? The Saturn car. I typed in the Saturn car, what happened to it in one tab, and I even typed in, are there any Saturn car horror stories? And it is. Oh my goodness. Let me put the Cash App up there. Thank you guys for who do give Cash Apps. I appreciate you guys because you most certainly do not have to, especially in the time we are living in where people are actually beginning to pick change off of the street. I repeat, times are getting so hard where people are starting to pick change off the street. I wish y'all stopped because there was a time here in America when y'all was too shamefaced to pick up pennies off the street. And y'all left them for me. That's my thing because I have no shame in picking up loose change. I'll tell you. Thank you so much for coming in. I'm talking about the Saturn car. I hope your Thursdays are thumping. Hey! Thursdays are open. Yeah. That's not gonna work, LA. That's not gonna work. I'm assuming that y'all all can hear me. Because if y'all couldn't hear me by now, y'all would have been like something wrong with your audio. So I'm just gonna move in. What's going on, Strawberry Fields? Hi, how are you doing? Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for pressing the likes, everyone. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. LA's getting ready to get started. Hello. Let me sit you there. I was rear-ended by a Saturn in my Chrysler. My bumper was dented by the Saturn's front was gone, smashed in. Dang, did you hear that? Already rolling in with the Saturn horror stories. That's messed up. I can't say I thought the Saturn cars were cool. I thought they were cute. The first memory that comes to mind is that I wanted a Saturn, but since my dad worked at General Motors, that was definitely a no-no. We could not have a Saturn because at that time when my dad worked in the plant, they really were, it seemed like it was a gang because I'm like, I wanted a Saturn, right? I thought they were cute. He's like, haha, no, we can't have that. People coming from my plant find out there's a Saturn sitting in my driveway. I'm paraphrasing. I might have heck to pay, and I don't have time to deal with that. I'm like, oh man, I forgot. I forgot. So I could not. That was the main reason I could not get a Saturn, because my dad worked at General Motors and he didn't want to deal with his quote friends and associates and co-workers giving him the business for having their competitors' car in the driveway. I'm like, did my dad just buckle under peer pressure, or was he just being smart? Because my car was used, so we didn't get, to my knowledge, we didn't get no discount. But that's besides the point. Segueing, and I did make a video years ago. It's really fun. I think it's called about the car lot walk of shame or something. It's about me getting my first car, and we went to the car dealership, and we went to the back of the dealership, where all the used cars and cars with limited warnings or as is cars are. That's where I got my first car. It was like the walk of shame. I'm like, why we even go through the front door? We don't even have to come in here and tell these people we here. I don't want them bothering me. We know what we want. The cheapest car on the lot. Let's just go back here and get it done. We walk back there. The longest walk ever. Past all the new cars, all the shiny cars. I already knew I wasn't getting those anyways, but I still didn't want to see it. I wish I could have just been teleported to the back of the car lot and be like, here's your choices. But before you see your choices, here are the things you wish you could have had. I'm like, I'll just be on my bike. My job not too far. I'll just keep riding my bike till I figure this out on my own. But yeah, that's pretty much me telling my story about my first car, where I got it from, and it was back there with all the dusty cars. I did like that car though, and it was similar to the teal Saturn car. I saw someone earlier talk about the teal Saturn car. I'm going to look on my other screen. Good morning, y'all, and see who said that. Someone did mention the teal car. Those Saturn cars were so cute. So basically, I did have one. Now that I'm thinking about it, not a Saturn, but one similar to it. I don't remember what the brand of the vehicle was, but it was teal 4-door, and we got it from some car lot that only sold like the cars that my dad helped make at the plant. So having said that, it was a Christmas miracle because it was close enough and I was cool with that. So in a way, I got my wacko's wish, and it's amazing how things work out. I do miss that car, but that's another story of how I lost that car. Oh, I should talk about that in the near future. But yeah, Jose said we're out here surviving. Someone mentioned, I was actually going back, you guys, into the chat to see who talked about the teal car, because that is actually the exact car I have online now through my Twitch. But if you type in Saturn car and probably type in teal, you'll see what we're talking about. Thank you guys so much for commenting. I actually went back to see if I can find who made that comment far as the teal car. And so many of you guys are in here just holding it down, chatting, and I really appreciate that. So yeah. Oh, that was Jose G. I actually don't like the color teal, but oh, you're talking about my hair color. Thank you so much. I actually thought you were, Jose, I thought you were talking about the teal color car for the vehicle, because that's the one I use. I'm going to Saturn right now, and I'm going to see if I can find that picture. It's beautiful. It's actually a beautiful color. Some cars don't, the shape and the model of the car looks gorgeous, but when they put the color on, it makes it look cheap. And it makes me sad because it's like, oh no, why? The car was perfect. So the next thing I go in, and I'm like, well, if that's the case, if I point this out to the dealer guy, maybe he can take some money off. I'm like, hey, this car is gorgeous, but that color, that's not the right color for this price. Let's take a little bit off, just to pay homage to the car. It was done an injustice. Done an injustice. Somebody put peach on the car, and that just don't work. So I typed in here, Saturn Cars, what happened to it? And this is what AI Overview said. So I'm reading this information for the first time. It's been years since I researched the Saturn car. Saturn, the General Motors brand. Wait a second. Remember when I said a story about why I could not get a vehicle, right? Because my dad worked at General Motors. I did not know Saturn was a General Motors car. So what the heck? My dad is still alive. Praise the Lord. So I'm going to have to ask him. This might be the time I actually pick up the phone and call my dad. Like, yo, I thought Saturns were made from your competitors. That's why we couldn't get one. My dad worked at the General Motors plant, and here we go. AI Overview says Saturn, the General Motors brand, known for its unique approach to car manufacturing and sales, was discontinued in 2010. Y'all, I graduated high school in 2002. 02, right in time to get one. Or even if I couldn't afford it, he could have just simply said that. I know we couldn't afford a lot of stuff, but if you don't ask, you don't get. And I did a lot of asking in my life, and I got a whole lot of nothing too. But nonetheless, I still continue to ask. I'm gonna have to ask my dad. I'm like, bruh, I thought you said this was in the General Motors car and we couldn't have a Saturn in there. So now I'm wondering if maybe it was more of a plant issue. Like, I don't remember which plant my dad worked in. The plants were numbered like 1 through 7 or whatever. So perhaps he would have caught some flack for having a car in our driveway that he didn't help build, if that makes sense. Like I said, the way the stories were told to me when my dad worked at the plant, and the stories I heard him say to my mom, in the spirit of privacy, but our walls are thin at the house and my dad talked really loud, I still was able to hear what he was saying. So to me, as a child, it sounded like my dad was in some type of gang at the plant. Like, if you talk about Ford in this plant, I'll get you. I'm sorry. Take that car back. If you bring a Ford in here, you're 86. I'm sorry, please don't hit me. I'm over exaggerating loosely, but it seemed like that. So Saturn, General Motors brand known for its unique approach to car manufacturing and sales, was discontinued in 2010 due to a combination of factors, including financial difficulties, the 2008 recession. Y'all, it was a recession in 2008. Well, I didn't feel it. We've been poor all our lives, so recession where? Recession, and changes in GM strategy, according to car websites and forums. According to car forums, while initially successful with this no-haggle pricing and distinctive mottos, sit down, Saturn eventually struggled to compete and become a casualty of GM's restructuring during the economic downturn. Economic downturn. So perhaps Saturn came out at the wrong time. I'm trying to piece this stuff together because I have not really took a deep dive on Saturn cars since I've been in high school. I've been out of high school for a long time. So thanks to modern day technology, I really can deep dive into this thing of beauty now. Good morning to you, Edward Chaboza. And once again, I am so sorry for saying your guys' names wrong. Tarsus in the Heezy. What's going on? We got Tarsus in the Heezy. He's one of Hercules, a fan of Hercules the shark. Yo, what's going on? Thank you guys. What is it? I literally graduated high school in 2008. It's been a dumpster fire for my entire adulthood. I am so sorry. I'm very sorry. We're basically the same age now. My high school, like getting out of high school and stuff, was a dumpster fire for me too, because my parents really didn't teach me much, so they just was like, away you go. They didn't kick me out the house, but it seemed like it, because I went straight to college, and it was a poop show in college for me. I wasn't ready for college, and I told them I wasn't ready. I didn't want to go to college right after high school. I wanted to get a job so I can get an apartment and get the H out of the house. A parent's dream, right? That's how it was when we were growing up. That was a parent's dream. I want these kids to grow up so they get the H out the house. Thankfully, I don't operate like that. My kids will leave when they're good and ready. I'm not going to push them out there and it's too soon. That's wrong. But nonetheless, I didn't want to go to college right after high school, and that's when my adulthood began to turn deeper into a dumpster fire. Welcome to the family. I hope your life gets better. So here, while initially successful with no haggle pricing and distinctive models, Saturn eventually struggled to compete and became a casualty of GM's restructuring during the economic downturn. I do need to write this memo to myself. My dad and I, we are not close, but I know right now, I know my dad enough to know we won't get into no type of arguments or strong disagreements if I did talk to him specifically about General Motors and the Saturn car. I know my dad enough to know that, but anything else is off the top because I don't have time to be fighting and arguing with him. Y'all, I'm looking for my ink pen because, I mean, he is still living. He's like 1,000 years old now, and that's a Christmas miracle. Y'all, like, I cannot find my ink pen. But I need to make a note to myself to at least ask him about that if he's willing. Now, I can't guarantee he'll be willing to respond because my dad is weird. If you guys, he reminds me of those, you know how some people worship deities and you have to appease the deity and you don't know if they're going to be mad at you, or if they're going to trick you, if they're going to give you what you want, or if they're going to take you serious or not. That's how it is like with my dad. It's like I'm actually talking to a dang deity, and if I do anything to tick him off, I'm dead meat. So it's like it's worse than walking on eggshells. But with this, with my brave self, I will ask to ask for him to retell me the story about the Saturn vehicle, since he did work at the plant at that time. So I'm making a note to myself. LA, ask your daddy about the Saturn cars at General Motors. Hey LA, ask. And I put CHO, ask Joe Daddy. Ask Joe Daddy about. And in my mind, because I'm conditioned to think this way due to my upbringing, if I write this letter and send it, well, when I write this letter and send it to my dad or email, he'll probably be like, you just asking for money. No, I'm not asking for money. That's why we're not talking right now, because you crazy. Moving forward. And my daddy probably got his conditioning from going to church all the time. Every time he went to church, they'd be like, pocket check, empty your pockets before you come to the house of the Lord. So maybe that's why he always thinking that. Because when he was in church all the time, the church was having like 65 offerings. Oh, time for offering. You come out of church broke, busted, and disgusted. Ask your daddy about the Saturn cars. You are in cars. Y'all wish me luck. If I don't be back, he got me. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so I wrote that note and I'll figure out how to make that work. But I know what I'm getting into and I know what to expect. But here we go. Here's a more detailed look at the reasons for Saturn's demise. Dang, this is Saturn's demise. Thank you, Tarsus. Thank you, Jet Eatson. I know that's right. Be happy in my own skin. I like my skin. Hey. How you doing? Okay. Now, why is this froze like that? Y'all, my phone is on one. I'm going to blame it on YouTube today. Here's a more detailed look at the reasons for Saturn demise. Financial trouble. Saturn was once reportedly losing money on each car produced. No way. Did y'all know that? I gotta read that again. Under financial troubles, Saturn was once reportedly losing money on each car product. GM invested billions in the brand. Come on, sit down, but it struggled to become profitable. 2008 recession and GM's bankruptcy. Oh, here we go. The 2008 financial crisis, and GM's subsequent bankruptcy forced the company to restructure and shed underperforming brands. Saturn was one of the brands slated for either sale or closure. Story of my life. Yes, you graduate. You get the certificate. The dream job that you were forced to have to work into, which was an office cubicle job. You finally get the job. We are here to announce that this particular department that LA worked so hard and spent thousands upon thousands and quadruples of money on to expand her education, this particular department is closed in 10, 9, 8. No! I'm severely over-exaggerating, but it seemed like in my life there was just a cloud of misfortune. It just seemed like everywhere I went. Cue Storm from X-Men when Storm was crying at Xavier's funeral. Wherever I go, it seemed like it was a storm cloud of misfortune just surrounding my life. It happened so much, y'all. I thought I was cursed. I started asking my mama, like, Mama, did grandma used to practice magic? Did you used to practice magic? Did anybody in my family practice magic? Am I cursed, Mama? You be in the church every day, day in, day out. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. I'm clear you should be well versed to know if somebody putting a hex on me. Oh, we gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. I'm like, so I'm gonna take that as a yes. Mama, am I cursed? We ain't gonna talk about that. So I guess that's a yes. Well, oh, happy day. I got something else to figure out about myself. How in the world do y'all expect me to be a functionable, sane human when I got stuff to deal with like that? Moving forward. Once again, I'm heavily exaggerating on a loosely based true story that did happen in my life. I tell you, shouts out to all of y'all who just seem like y'all cannot make it. It will get better. Even though it don't seem like it, it will get better in due time. But in the meantime, while you wait for things to get better, it is best to find things to fill your time with a lot of joy and happiness while you wait for things to get better. Because if you're waiting for things to get better because you know they are, sitting around waiting like a couch potato, waiting for things to get better, it's going to be like age to pay, and it's not fun. So fill your time with activities, hobbies, heck, video gaming. Get involved in video gaming while you wait for things to get better. Don't just sit there waiting like you're waiting for your bus to come, because buses be late. You don't know it's a holiday. You sitting out there happy waiting for your bus to come. Wonder why the bus didn't come. You call the bus station, a lady like, what you want? We close, stupid. It's the holiday. We don't run. I'm like, oh, dang, 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 dang. I cannot. I'm holding myself at the bus stop. I cannot. A homeless man come and put a blanket on me. Sister, you cold? I'm like, no, I'm not cold. I'm furious. Then he'll give me ice water. I'm like, dang, is this homeless man giving me a blanket and a bottle of water? Am I down that bad, Lord? Am I really down that bad? I just want to lay out in the street. Take me now. Then the homeless man dragged me out of the street and say, sister girl, I don't know what the F you want, but things gonna get better, says the homeless man to me. I'm like, oh, help me. Oh, happy day. Oh, man. Oh, happy day. Sit down. Moving forward. Failed sales to Penske. Failed sales to Penske. According to AI Overview, here's a more detailed look at the reasons for Saturn's demise. And it says failed sales to Penske. What does Penske have to do with anything? We about to find out. A deal to sell Saturn to Penske Automotive. I thought Penske was an oil changing shop. Shut the front and the back and the side door too. A deal to sell Saturn to Penske Automotive Group fell through, effectively sealing Saturn's fate. Now don't that sound like a horror story? Penske was interested in acquiring the brand, but not the manufacturing facilities. What? Which GM was not willing to part with. Of course, it's just like, here, take my arm. Take my heart. And keep the rest. I need to read that again. That's ridiculous. Why would y'all do General Motors like that? It says here, a failed sale to Penske. A deal to sell Saturn to Penske Automotive Group fell through, effectively sealing Saturn's fate. Penske was interested in acquiring the brand, but not the manufacturing facilities. Well, how the H y'all gonna build the car if y'all don't want the setup of the shop, man? That's the most stupidest contract ever, which GM was not willing to part with. No, because people would lose jobs, but they still lost jobs anyways, because apparently the contract didn't go through. Man, that's messed up. Story of my life. Hey, Ercerla. That's my real name. Hey, Ercerla. What, Daddy? When you graduate, you can come work in the plant with me. Okay, fine. I guess. At least y'all get paid weekly. Yeah. If we get a lot of money. Yeah, okay. If I can get in there. All right. Ercerla graduates. She gets into the plant. And the plant I get into will be the Saturn one. We closing in 5, 4, 3. Wait, I gotta get to my stuff out of my locker. Wait, I gotta get my lunchbox. Wait, I gotta get my check. It's a paper check. I gotta get it. He ain't signed it yet. Oh my gosh, let me get my check. The plant is shutting down, and those who don't evacuate will be locked in here forever. Like the Five Nights at Freddy's people. Oh my gosh, my first check. Get out of the building. The Lord will make a way. Are you serious? This was the way. Get out of the building. The W down is no longer in service. This plant is closed. I am sorry, and you won't get your checks. My name is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Welcome to Thursday, August 21st, 2025, as I go all around the world in my imagination of loosely based real life stories that happened to me and some that did not. But in my world of imagination, I continue to turn my life sour stories into lemonades, and I drink lemonade daily. Shift in GM strategy. GM shifted away from Saturn's original concept of a unique brand with its own identity. Now, why in the H would you do that? They began incorporating more shared parts and designs with other GM brands, diluting Saturn's distinctiveness. Now, it sounds like they just sold out. By default, they still lost. This is a sad story. I wonder if there's a book out there about the history of Saturn so I can read it page by page in the chronological order in book form. This is a horror story. It's a sad story. It's a tragedy. It really is. The way AI Overview is painting this narrative, shouts out to AI Overview, because the way AI Overview painted this picture of Saturn, I feel sorry for all the people who were affected by it. It says GM shifted away from Saturn's original concept of a unique brand with its own identity. They began incorporating more shared parts and designs with other GM brands, diluting Saturn's distinctiveness. As I read this, it's like they're tearing the actual person apart, and that's what's creeping me out. It's so scary because this is what corporate do to cool people like you and I, people who are naturally distinctive, people who are like fun, free, and caring. They'll want you, but then when they get you, they strip you apart. They strip away your identity and begin incorporating more shared parts from other designs, diluting your identity. So what the heck you want me for if you just gonna strip us apart? Oh, they want my energy, but they can't come out and say it because we'll definitely say no. But what's the dang difference if you don't take it anyways? Heaven help us. Shouts out to Saturn. Saturn, I am becoming a fan favorite all over again. You are one of the cars that I will proudly wear on my shirt. Like I will proudly wear the Mad Hatter, Joker, Bumblebee. Who else is out there? Like all the Hollywood rejects that people need. What is it? Not Jack Black. Who's that guy from Jack Sparrow from that pirate movie? All the oddballs in Hollywood movie sphere that people think are odd, those are my heroes. So Saturn, you are the car's reject apart from Ford, and that's a whole nother story. I drop a tear for Ford cars in general. That's another story, but Ford and I have a history. And I just don't know why they cannot get it together, right? Shift in GM strategy. GM shifted away from Saturn's original content. I already read that. Tragedy. Competition. Saturn faced increasing competition, particularly from Japanese automakers in the small car market. So do you guys think that the Saturn vehicle was considered let me adjust. Do you think the Saturn car were deemed a small car? I'm actually going to look at the picture, but before I re-look at the picture, I'm going to look back in my mind first. Think about it. Because I want to practice now solely relying on AI overview. I need to use my mind first and actually think about the cars. To me, they weren't small. Probably because I was smaller than this. I'm still small and I'm a grown woman now, but when I was in high school, I was a pinch smaller than this. So a car is big, right? It's bigger than me, so heck, it's big. But I think the word was back in the time when Saturns were out in the 2000s was compact. It seems like a nice, comfortable car for me. But that's because I'm small. So, yes, probably Saturn cars were small. If I'm really trying to think outside the box in reference to this. So, it says competition. Saturn faced increasing competition, particularly from Japanese automakers and small car market. Do you guys think the Saturn is a small car? Did they even get around to making Saturn trucks? Shouts out to the plain Jane pickup truck model trucks. Those are always cute. In essence, Saturn's unique approach was ultimately not sustainable within GM's broader strategy and financial landscape. I think that's a bold-faced lie. I think Saturn was onto something good, but some idiot in the corporate who lacks the soul decided to crush it because they didn't want GM to thrive. That's it, that's all. Because the cars are great, they were a fan favorite, they're severely missed. And I think they would have blew Ford out of the water. Now, this is just me giving my own take on it with before really doing a deep dive and studying the whole shebang of it all. Good mercy. In essence, Saturn's unique approach was ultimately not sustainable within GM's broader strategy and financial landscape. While it had a loyal following, and the distinctive brand identity, it couldn't overcome the challenges it faced, leading to its discontinuation. Guys, we are unique people like the Saturn. Let's move forward so we don't get discontinued by default. A lot of people don't want us out here. And I'm talking about all of y'all because you're watching this weirdo woman on here and y'all just not here for no particular reason. So you guys are the cool peeps. Please keep your energy intact because there's a lot of people who don't like us. And it don't have nothing to do with skin color. It's about the morality of it all. Do your best to keep your weirdness. We are so cool. It's got a deep dive in AI mode. I need to see this. What more could it say? Wow, this is the longest I've seen AI take the time to generate information. I pushed the deep dive button and it was doing this little ticker thing with the numbers and it had 89 seconds, launching in 89 seconds. That's a long time. Thank you, Tarsus, so much. Thank you guys so much for all your comments. Even Down Syndrome Jesus, he shouts out to Down Syndrome Jesus. He or she said, I would never buy a US brand vehicle. That's cool. I like having different opinions in here. I like US brands, not all models, but I have a particular favorite. Saturn was one of them. I enjoy the way the body types are on Ford. GMs are cool too. But nonetheless, right here, let me read this. This deep dive overview might be long. Let me glance and see, because it took AI overview a long time to stir that up. The Saturn car will happen to it deep dive. Yes, Blitz Z Craig, please embrace the weirdness. Weirdness needs to embrace. It will if that's what you want. You've already asked it out, and so we're here rooting for you to get it. So it's already done. So you good. PT Cruiser is the best car ever. Rhombus Rubus. Y'all, in high school and in college, I had a PT Cruiser folder. I think it was the same folder I had from high school. I carried it over with me to college. It was the purple one. All I saw when I saw the purple PT Cruiser, I think I started crying when I first saw that car in real life go past our house. It was so beautiful. I thought of Joker. I'm like, it's the Joker car. I must have this car. I need this car. It's Joker's car. The car was beautiful. We lived on the corner, a side of a busy. It wasn't a highway, but I think it was called a road. because it was just as busy as a highway, honestly. So let's just say, I think the way our house sat to the city folks, because we lived outside of the small town, which was the city though, to the city folks, that seemed like the back way to get to everything. So our house sat on the corner of what was deemed to me the back way to get to everything. So it was basically a highway to me. But at our corner, it was an intersection that divided kind of like the highway portion to the city, entering the city limits portion. And so there was a guy, he was coming off of the highway portion, and I was out in the yard, and the car stopped at the light, and I couldn't help but see it. I know I waved and got all out of pocket. I was young, but I wasn't happy to see him. I was happy to see the car, but either or. I made the guy's day, and my day was made looking at how beautiful the car was. It was shiny. I'm like, it looked like everything the folder said it would be. It's just like the folder. Ooh, the folder. Boo! It was just like the folder. If I had more time, I'm like, can you give me your autograph? Not the man, but the car. Yeah, the PT Cruisers are amazing. I saw a gold one. There was a woman. I'm not sure if she was my mom's friend or not. It's been so long since I thought about all that stuff, but there was someone, either my mom's friend at the time or maybe someone in our neighborhood, but it was a woman. She had a gold one. And it was cool because her skin was naturally like a bronzy color, and she had gold. She wore like a gold wig. Well, it looked like a gold wig to me. But it was neat because the car was gold, her skin was naturally a golden color, and her hair she chose to wear was gold. So it was like the gold lady, golden lords. Y'all remember the golden lords? It was probably the queen of the golden lords in the Heezy. Moving forward, thank you for bringing up the PT Cruiser. Good times. I want one of those cars. The PT Cruiser, y'all, is worthy enough to be in car shows now. That kind of just made my heart drop a little bit, like this part of my heart, because
Wait a minute. How old are you, Elay?
shut up! A woman never tells her age.
But you just said it when you said that.
Be quiet. Leave me alone. Why are you even working here?
You hired me. You bought me at the store, so that meant you wanted me, right?
Not to be in the video if you don't sit yourself down. I cannot. Somebody come get him. Do you have WhatsApp or email to contact you? I have email. I don't WhatsApp. I don't have a WhatsApp. But I do have an email. Now, which email do I have for? I'm actually getting ready to look in here. Which email do I have for YouTube? I should remember this, but hey, sometimes I just don't. Okay. So let me look through here and see which email I have for you guys to reach out to me. Excuse me. Let me look through here. Share channel, YouTube. Where's my email? View email address. It's elaytv84@gmail.com. Let me copy and paste it in here. For those of you who are inquiring or have questions or whatever, let me copy and paste that. I can just type it in, but copy. Oh Lord, help me. I'm gonna open up a window. Open up that goddamn window. Yeah. Our office hours are 9 to 5. Here go my email. And let me find some emojis. Let's see here. Let me find a mailbox. MAIL. Here is my email. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, etc., there's my email address, you guys, and we can move forward from there. Bada bing. Thank you for asking, because it's been a long time since I actually looked at it myself. I'll be in my emails all the time. Put me on timeout. Well, Alex, now that we know how you feel, I'm sorry that you were expressive about that. I don't know if you're for real or not. I'm sorry you feel that way. It will definitely get better. And you know why it's going to get better? Because for all the reasons, if that is true, you're over here talking to me. And I'm not talking about trash. It's something that can easily keep your mind off of things. So I encourage you to have me in the background to help keep your mind off of things. You're on the right track, whether you know it or not. I'm letting you know that you are on the right track because you're over here hanging with the cool people. And this is all positive right here. So shouts out to Alex and the Heezy. Thank you for subscribing. Saturn originally launched by General Motors in the late 1980s. Did y'all know Saturn was out that long? I honestly thought Saturn came out in the late 90s, early 2000s. But according to here, Saturn originally launched by General Motors GM in the late 1980s was a venture aimed at creating a new type of American car company with innovative production methods and a unique sales approach, including features like no haggle pricing and dent-resistant plastic body panels. That's saying a lot. They didn't want quality anymore. Man, that's crazy. Shouts out to AI Overview. That's another reason why they probably found a way to dismantle Saturn. It was too great. It's a sad shame, how if you're too great and according to the eyes of social media or people, your best friends, your family, the only thing that comes to mind if someone feels you're too great or they take the assumption that you think you're too good for people, the only thing to do is dismantle it. What kind of backwards logic is that? Why would you want to dismantle something so great? Not even calculating that the company is so great, dismissing the fact that they may want to share the wealth, meaning sharing the wealth being you included in sharing the bounty. That goes for companies and people alike. I just never understood that approach. You know, a lot of people lose their lives because of jealousy and envy. And that's all this seems like to me. This seems like a horrible story of a company being great. For me, it seems like they got it from the mud, completely original, authentic, in their own lane. Everybody's making money, but they're like, no, you're too good. We got to get rid of you. Thank you guys for sending Alex some support. That means a lot. Definitely sending him some support. So that's really cool. Yeah, I believe that things will be better for you. However, the brand struggled with several challenges. Let's see what these challenges are. High production costs. The cost of building Saturns, particularly with their unique parts and manufacturing processes, was high, making it difficult to turn a profit and causing resentment amongst other GM divisions. Resentment amongst GM divisions. So this might be the reason why my dad felt some way about having a Saturn parked into our driveway if we were to get one, if I had one. Sometimes parents just don't like to talk about things, but when will we ever get to the point where it's time to talk about things? I want to know, because my dad worked at the plant for 1 billion trillion years, so I'm quite sure that place and all its functions are a part of him. So it's going to be a tender spot, that's his second home, if not his first home. Really, he was at work more, but I just don't get it. I don't know if this is the planet Saturn, but I'm putting that in there. So it says here, The high product cost, the cost of building Saturns, particularly with their unique parts and manufacturing processes, was high, making it difficult to turn a profit and causing resentment among other GM divisions. Shouts out to the General Motors people. That's crazy. Tasha said, my dad's 75 now, and he is starting to finally talk about things. Well, that's nice to know. That's good. He's talking about things now. That's wonderful. My thing is this, and it's always been my thing since adolescence. I am not down with the people who do deathbed confessions. Man up, woman enough, and talk about this stuff while you're fully functioning. Because it's a cop out to tell all your alleged dirty secrets, and you're about to transition in 24 hours. No, stand in it because we may have other questions. That's just not fair. It does every single person a disservice to be better if you wait too late to share information. And that's a human thing. That's a humanity type of situation. It has nothing to do with race. That's a thing people all over the world deal with. These things are important. So I'm very happy. That's a dang on testimony. I'm very happy for you. So if you don't mind, Tarsus, I believe to me, that's a personal testimony, and I want that for myself too. I want my dad to tell us more things because I think we should know what about his past and history so we don't repeat some of this stuff. And it's just also good to know. I mean, after all, you're my dad, you're my mom, you're my older sister or brother, and so on. You don't have to tell us everything, but the things that make the connection so we can move forward. So once again, shouts out to you, Tarsus. I want to use your testimony for me and apply it for like a prayer for me, for my family, because I've done all I could to try to bring our family together. It's a lot of work. I had to put down that cross because it's too much work. It's a lot of work. So thank you so much for that testimony. What's going on, John Cave? We've got Health Cobblepot. We've got Jose G. Communication involves understanding. Isn't that the truth? Yeah. So sometimes in doing good things, you don't want to exhaust yourself. I'm talking about myself in the spirit of doing good things. I didn't want to burn the candle at two ends for a long time, so I had to put down that cross for a while to regenerate myself and find another way. And this might be the way. So once again, it's amazing how things come. Answers come through people. So thank you so much, because I got an answer basically through Tarsus and this particular topic at hand. So I'm taking it as a sign to start again. So that's what I'll do. I'm well rested now. I had the strength and energy to pick it up and go at it again. So this is dope. Yeah, exactly. Through mainly speaking through Tarsus, and he's mainly speaking through Tarsus and this said topic that I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys so much. So continuing on with this cool topic, the Saturn car will happen to it. I'm currently reading the deep dive in here, and it says loss of uniqueness and badge engineering. What? Over time, General Motors integrated Saturn more tightly into its corporate structure, leading to Saturn vehicles sharing platforms and components with other GM brands, diminishing Saturn's distinctiveness. For instance, the Saturn VUE, spelled VUE, share elements with the Chevrolet Equinox, and the Saturn Sky was a rebate Pontiac Solstice. That's why I was getting confused. There was some confusion with me in reference to the Saturns as time went on. And that's probably why. You guys, it would be so nice to have this in book form so I can really study this stuff. I have to read this out loud again. Did you guys ever catch this in reference to Saturn? It says over time, GM integrated Saturn more tightly into its corporate structure. leading to Saturn vehicles sharing platforms and components with other GM brands, diminishing Saturn's distinctiveness. And here's an example. For instance, the Saturn VU share elements with the Chevrolet Equinox, and the Saturn Sky was a rebatch Pontiac Solstice. That makes a lot of sense. Because there was a time when I was like, where's the Saturn? Or why does that look like a Saturn? That's not a Saturn, but it looks like a Saturn. Why this, why that? So probably that's the reason why I started to get confused. Is because we were actually witnessing at that time the meshing and basically the dissolvement of Saturn as they merged the cars into other cars. Isn't that a sad shame? That's really bad. Wow. Competition. Saturn faced fierce competition from established import brands like Honda, Toyota, as well as new domestic rivals according to Funding Universe. In 2008, financial crisis and GM bankruptcy. The global financial crisis and GM's subsequent bankruptcy in 2009. Delivered the final blow to Saturn brand. As part of its restructuring efforts, GM decided to shed non-core brands, and Saturn was among them. Non-core brands? How was that a non-core brand? It seemed like Saturn was doing good until you guys weaseled in and picked it apart. Hater. I tell you. Gravy train dog food. Gravy train dog food. Gravy train dog food. Ultimately, an attempted sale to Penske Automotive Group fell through, and General Motors announced in late 2009 that it would discontinue the Saturn brand. The last Saturn car rolled off the assembly line in late 2009. And the company ceased operation at the end of 2010. GM did, however, authorize many of its dealerships to continue handling warranty and service work for Saturn models. In essence, Saturn's innovative start and initial success were undermined by a combination of high cost and shifts towards shared platforms that eroded its uniqueness, and the devastating impact of the 2008 financial crisis on GM. If that's not a sad horror story, man, that's such a sad horror story. I need to type that in. What a sad story about the vehicles. Thank you guys for all the likes, man. This was such a sad story about the Saturn car. This was such a sad story about the Saturn car. The room. I'm typing that in. There you go. I tell you, what a sad story about the vehicle. And what makes it sad is that it's actually a realistic story. You know, the plant people, what happened to them? Where did they go? Did they have another job, or did they just merge back into the fold of the General Motors plant? Or did they had to relocate somewhere else? This is crazy. I want to know what happened to the workers at the Saturn plant. What happened to at the Saturn car plant, PLANT, after it closed? Waiting for an answer. I typed in, what happened to the workers at the Saturn plant after it closed? And it says, when the Saturn plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee closed. What about the other states? I'll just read this portion because I thought that was one in other states too. When the Saturn plant in Spring Hill, Tennessee closed, many workers were laid off. Some were rehired as part of a new contract between GM and UAW, but many others faced unemployment or had to find work elsewhere. The closure was part of General Motors' bankruptcy, reconstructing and subsequent downsizing. That's trash. Where were all of the Saturn Where were all of the Saturn plants located? I want a list. Maybe it can give me a list. Because I thought Saturn was only made here in America. So I asked, where were all the Saturn plants located? And it says, according to AI Overview, shouts out to AI Overview. You're doing a terrific job educating me and filling me in on all the things I've been wanting to know. Saturn, a General Motors subsidiary, has several manufacturing plants located in the United States, Mexico, and Belgium. Now, I didn't know they had Saturn car plants in Mexico and Belgium. I thought it was strictly over here with us. Now, this is information to know. It's very good information. The primary Saturn plant was in Spring Hill, Tennessee, where it produced various models including the S-Series, VU, and Ion. Y'all remember the Saturn Ion? Wasn't that a four-door car? It was like a sedan, right? What's going on, John K? The 2000s. Let's see here. Thank you, Tarsus. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. People will be people. The primary Saturn plant was in Spring Hill, Tennessee, where it produced various models including the S-Series, VU, and Ion. Shouts out to the Ion! If the cow was here, the cow will be like, shouts out to the Ion. Shouts out to the cow. The VU was also produced in Ramos Arcepi, Caluja, Mexico. The relay was manufactured in Doraville Assembly in Doraville, Georgia. The Aurora, or AURA, was built in Fairfax District plant in Kansas City, Kansas. So it's like each car was made in a different state and or country. The Astra was produced in Antwerp, Belgium by General Motors Europe. Dope! There's a General Motors Europe? That's crazy cool. It would make sense from my assumption because if there were people in other countries who actually wanted an American car, they will have to have some of the parts over there. I'm assuming that's how things work. The Outlook was manufactured in the Lansing Delta Township Assembly in Delta Charter Township, Michigan. Cool. Hold on a sec, guys. Let me grab something really quickly. I actually need some more cereal. I want to eat all of this up first before I pour some more in. Because I don't want to waste it. It's a little stale, but it's a little left, so... The Aura was built in Fairfax District, Kansas City, Kansas, where Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz lives. Shouts out to Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. The Astra was produced in Antwerp, Belgium by General Motors Europe. And once again, the Outlook was manufactured at the Lansing Delta Township Assembly in Delta Charter Township, Michigan. The Sky L Series and Pontiac Solstice were produced in Wilmington, Delaware. Yes, I want a deeper dive on this. They're actually developing faster transportation than the Panama Canal, which is surprising. This is cool. Okay, yeah, if you want to, that's fine by me. Once again, I have the email in the somewhere in the chat, and also it's in my homepage. My email is in the when you go to my homepage and go to the more section, the email will be there also. So yeah, I'm going to read the deep dive because I'm curious about what else they have to say. I'm learning a lot of stuff. I wish I could have learned this from my dad, but to each his own. I'm learning it now, so that can help with the conversation if we ever have a conversation. At least I can learn some stuff and prepare and bring to him so I can make the conversation a little more long. But it's all about what he's willing to share in reference to his time working at the plant. I'm not sure if he's going to be open to talking about that or not. Where were all of the Saturn plants located? During this lifespan, in the AI Overview Deep Dive, Saturn vehicles were produced at various locations. Spring Hill, Tennessee, Spring Hill Manufacturing, that's in parentheses. This was Saturn's primary manufacturing facility built specifically for the brand, where the original S-Series VU and Ion models were produced. Wilmington, Delaware, Wilmington Assembly. This plant produced the Saturn, Sky, and L-Series. Doraville, Georgia, Doraville Assembly. This facility assembled the Saturn Relay. Gosh almighty, y'all remember this stuff? Wow. Fairfax District, Kansas City, Kansas General Motors. This plant manufactured the Saturn Aura. Ramis Arzepez is spelled Arizpez. I'm going to try to pronounce it. Ramis Arzepi. I think that's it. That sounds better. The Ramis Arzepi, Cajula, Mexico General Motors. This facility produced the Saturn VU. Or say boo. Wait. Shouts out Veggie Tales on Silly Songs with Larry, the song of the Cebu. I like that song. Cebu. Da, da. Shouts out Veggie Tales. Veggie Tales is different now from how we grew up with Veggie Tales. They have Veggie Tales where they're in the city now. I'm like, no, they did not get modern facelift. We have Antwerp, Belgium, General Motors, Europe. This plant produced the Saturn Astra. Lansing, Delta Township Assembly, Delta Charter Township, Michigan, General Motors. This location assembled the Saturn Outlook. While Spring Hill was the initial and main plant, Saturn later utilized other GM facilities to produce a wider range of models. Really? Let's see here. Wow, I wish it told us more, but that's still a lot. I need to have access to my printer. Yeah, I have so much stuff to print off, but until then, I'll have to bookmark all of these things, get my digital notes ready in the order that I see befitting for myself, then print it out. You know, that's how I'd have to do my digital notes. Sometimes there's so many notes, guys, I have to just put them in the cloud. I put them in the cloud. I don't want to knock down my background. That's why I keep turning around. I don't want to knock my background down. Where do I want to go with this? Because I want to talk about it some more. So I just read the deep dive of where all the Saturn plants are located. And that thought came from what happened to the workers at the Saturn plant. AI Overview only specifically talked about what happened to the Tennessee workers. And unfortunately, is what I presumed. So I will read this here. It says, here's a more detailed look. Initial layoffs. The closures of the Saturn plant resulted in the loss of approximately 2,000 jobs. This is solely referring to the Saturn plant in Spring Hills, Tennessee, but I'm going to take that and think that did not just happen in Springfield, Tennessee. Of all the plants I read about, that were listed far as the Saturn plants in a couple of countries and few states here in the United States that closed. I'm going to assume that this same process happened with them, based off of what happened to the Tennessee one in Springfield. So here's a more detailed look. Initial layoffs. The closure of the Saturn plant resulted in the loss of approximately 2,000 jobs. Rehiring efforts. A new contract between GM and the United Auto Workers UAW included provisions for returning some workers to the plant, specifically those building the Chevrolet Equinox. That's still a thing. The Chevrolet Equinox is still a thing, right? The second tier wages. What do they mean by second tier wages? The new contract also introduced a two-tiered wage structure with lower wages for new employees. Now, the only thing I heard about far as two-tier wages was around the time my dad was faced with the choice to choose either pay cut or retire. He chose to buy to the what is it, the buyout thing, and retire, because the new people, which was us at that time who were coming in, we were happy to take the lower wages, because even to us the lower wages seemed like a lot of money. So that's what was happening. My dad chose to retire, and the woman I worked with at the time, her husband decided to retire. And that's about all the realistic details I have that are proof to actually reflect the, the changing of the gears once again with General Motors and all that stuff. Is that that's my realistic example I have. So second tier wages, the new contract also introduced a two-tiered wage structure with lower wages for new employees, i.e. me. I would have been one of the new employees who would have taken lower wages, but in my eyes, it was a lot. Other job losses. While some workers were rehired, many others were not. Man, that's the part I worried about. And the closure had a significant impact on the local economy. Plant repurposing. The Spring Hill plant was idle, but eventually repurposed to produce other GM vehicles, such as the Chevrolet Traverse SUV. What? Those are the cars we're still living with now. So the Chevrolet Traverse SUV was mentioned, and the Chevrolet Equinox. So, wow. Future prospects. The plant has since undergone a comeback. Which plant are we talking about? The plant that dissolved and ate up all the poor Saturns? Are we talking about Saturn making a comeback? Or General Motors in general making a comeback because you ate the cool people? That don't count. The plant has since undergone a comeback, with more workers being brought back as production increased. Well, I hope that sustains. I'm not sure how it's looking like right now for General Motors workers. And on that notion, I'm going to ask, how's it looking like for today's General Motors workers? I'm curious. Boy, this is fun. I still miss having tangible books, though, to research. I have to be very careful how I make sure I tag my notes and stuff and file them out digitally so I don't get lost in the sauce, because the information is in abundance, man. It's so much information. It is so much information, to which I'm happy about. I had to make sure I don't mix up all my notes. So how is it looking for today's GM plant workers? I'm curious to see. Before I read this, I hope the answer is that it's looking great. It's better than where I first started and more people are employed. I hope that's the case, but the way I've been looking, I don't know. But that's my educated guess before I read what AI Overview presents to me. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for my new subscribers I've gotten over this past week and over last week as well. Thank you everyone for coming in. I'm not leaving, but I wanted to take the time to just say thanks because it's super darn cool. So I have here, oh wow. Wow, this is what it said, y'all. It said on August 21st, 2025, the outlook for GM plant workers is a mixed bag. That's terrible. Ah, my leg is falling asleep. Influenced by various factors. Now, when I looked up, I was doing a research about the Essence Festival that happened this year. The Essence Festival didn't do so well this year, and that's the term AI Overview said in reference to that it was pretty much a mixed bag of opinions and stuff like that. So this might not be good. So how's it looking for today's General Motor plant workers? On August 21st, 2025, as of today, the outlook for General Motor plant workers is a mixed bag influenced by various factors. Recent investments and production changes. General Motors recently announced a $4 billion investment in its U.S. manufacturing plants. Right now, including facilities in Michigan, Kansas, and Tennessee. So Tennessee is back up in here again. So they have to be one of their biggest plants. It has to be because it's mentioned in here again. Michigan, Kansas, and Tennessee. These investments are intended to expand both gas and electric vehicle production and secure future models and jobs at these facilities, according to RTT News. What's going on in my chat? YouTube chat service. I don't know if it's fake or not. If you cannot type 1, please end this live stream immediately and add an apology post to your comment page. Thanks. Some weird stuff going on in the chat, but life goes on. Another day in the life of being me. Recent investment and production changes. General Motors recently announced a $4 billion investment in its U.S. manufacturing plants. Let's see if they're going to give us a contingency plan of what they're willing to share with us. Let me put this in here, copy and paste that in there. Yeah, I thought so too. I kept moving forward. That's all we can do is just move forward. Those are just what are considered distractions. And let me put this in here too. Copy, put love, and paste. There we go. So it says here, these investments are intended to expand both gas and electric vehicles. Specific changes including shifting production of the Chevy Equinox. Oh, what? Specific changes include shifting production of the Chevy Equinox and Blazer from Mexico to the U.S., according to YouTube. The Orion assembly plant in Michigan will begin production of gas-powered SUVs and pickups in the early 2027. This is big. According to General Motors, the Fairfax assembly plant in Kansas is set to start building in 2027. The Chevrolet Bolt EV electric vehicle by the end of this year. And the Spring Hill manufacturing plant in Tennessee will add production of the Chevrolet Blazer in 2027. They're still making the Blazers? How am I not aware of this? They're still making the Blazers? I have to type that. They must look completely different from the ones I imprinted on that's burned into my head. They're still making the Blazers? I had to look. Okay, just a minute. I need to see how the Blazers look for today. I didn't know that. Unless it's been in my face this whole time and I don't identify or relate to it because I'm still stuck on how they first look. Because those were very nice. So let me look in here. Blazers. Let me go up here and see. Come back the Blazer, Chevrolet, the Blazer. Chevrolet Blazer. Are they still... I'm trying to get my wording together. Still making that model vehicle. Chevrolet is still producing the Blazer, although there have been some changes and uncertainty surrounding its future. Specifically, while the gas-powered Blazer was initially rumored to be discontinued after the 2025 model. No. A GM spokesperson confirmed to Car and Driver that it will continue production of the 2026 model year. It will continue for the production of the 2026 model year. This is a reversal of an earlier report suggesting that the gas Blazers production might end due to GM's plan to convert the Ramas Arzeby plant in Mexico to an all-EV facility. The Blazer was reportedly the last remaining internal combustion engine vehicle produced at that plant. However, the production of the gas-powered Blazer is expected to shift to GM Spring Hill plant in Tennessee starting in 2027 model year. This suggests that the gas-powered Blazer will remain part of the Chevrolet lineup for the foreseeable future. But the way the foreseeable future is looking, it looks so short if you're looking at it from those eyes. It's also important to distinguish between the gas line power Blazer and the Blazer EV, the electric vehicle, which is an all-electric version that has launched in 2024 and continues to be in production. While the gas-powered Blazer's future wasn't certain, the Blazer EV is a newer model and a part of Chevrolet's broader strategy for electric vehicles. What's going on? That's crazy. The electric Blazer is the biggest POS that Chevy brought up, and believe me, I've worked on them, says Patrick Birmingham. Thank you for that information. Rhombus Rubus said they should bring back the Chrysler Fifth Avenue. It was like driving the tank that rode on the cloud. Bring back the Electramino and Ranchero. Man, can we see these cars outside of going to a car show? Wow. Let me get back to the topic at hand so I don't get too far out there. This is cool. So I'm talking about the Saturn car, but within these notes, it brought me to other questions that are just as important to me because it all ties in. So I'm going back to my first tab, the Saturn car, what happened to it, and I'll read the summary, the last paragraph, so I can keep all my thoughts tied in together. In essence, the Saturn's innovative start and initial success were undermined by a combination of high costs, shifts towards shared platforms that eroded its uniqueness, and the devastating impact of the 2028 physical crisis on General Motors. I have another article. Are there any Saturn car horror stories? Yes. I need to read some of these. Let me adjust. I'm glad I put that tab up in the queue because I would have forgot about this and I would have ended this live stream like I did all right. start closing out tabs. No, I forgot about this one. We've been hanging out here for 1 hour and 30 minutes. The time right now is 6:35 a.m. Good morning to all of you. And for the ones who are overseas in another country, good night to you perhaps. Boy, this is good cereal. I'm almost finished. I'm trying not to just hog it all up, you know? Let me fix my camera just a smidget. Oh boy. So, I asked AI Overview, are there any Saturn horror stories? And to our dismay,
And to our entertainment, there are some sad horror stories that we will begin to bring to read.
sit down. Yes, there are Saturn car horror stories, primarily focused on reliability and build quality issues, especially with certain models and years. Some common complaints include, you guys ready for this? Rust. Is this true? Saturns, particularly older models, are prone to rust. Is that true? Especially in areas with high salt content or heavy snow. Yes, if you live in the states that get all seasons, for example, Michigan, Chicago. Who else gets all the seasons? All those states up there. Why, LA, you'd make a fine geographical teacher. Why, thank you. I try my best. Teach the kids, I say. Each one teach one. Moving forward. Engine problems. Some Saturn models like the early 2000s VU with the 4-cylinder engine, described as underpowered and unreliable. Head gasket failures in the V6 engines, particularly those using the GM copy Honda V6, were frequently issued. Now, are we talking about / reading about Saturn, or are we talking about Ford? Electrical issues. Some owners reported electrical problems, including issues with the check engine light and sensors. Have you guys heard anybody talking about problems or horror stories with Saturn? Now that I'm reading one of the bullet points from AI Overview of reference to the, let me go back and find it. Where was it? Some Saturn's models like the early 2000s were described as underpowered and unreliable. There was something else I read where I thought it said something about, oh, here it is, head gasket failures in the V6 engine, particularly those using the GM copy Honda V6. Now, was it true? Well, it had to be true now that Saturn used other parts from other models of cars. I do recall hearing my dad say it like that. And the way he talked about it, because I think we were at the edge of my driveway, edge of his driveway in the house, the second childhood home I grew up in. He was at the edge of the driveway, and for some reason we were talking about the Saturn again. But once again, it was easy to kind of slip off and be distracted and talk about cars because where we lived at the corner of a busy intersection. So there at that busy intersection was a stoplight, so we always saw various cars. So perhaps we saw another Saturn go by and my dad was talking about, yeah, those cars, blah, 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 yaggity smaggity. They're building them from other parts of our cars and blah, blah, blah. But that would make sense. But that's all he kind of would say. It was kind of like, you know how King of the Hill talks? Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, that's how my dad kind of got when he was talking about the Saturn cars. I It was just like he went off into his own world and just started rambling on. It took him somewhere else, but not where I was at. So I had to glean and harvest what he was saying and what he thought he was saying. And it was just like piecing a patchwork quilt together with bare minimum scraps to put this thing together. So it says in reference to the Saturn and Saturn car horror stories, It says it had electrical issues. Some owners reported electrical problems, including issues with the check engine light and sensors. Transmission problems, transmission issues like slipping were also reported. Now that's dangerous, right? That's dangerous. Overall building quality. Many owners complained about the cheap plastic interiors and poor build quality. What are they talking about? Isn't everything to a certain price point in reference to vehicles cheaply made? So what's the deal? What are we doing here? You pay $1.75 for a car, you best believe it's gonna be cheap parts in there. But all that matters in my world is if you get a car that take you from point A to point B. That's all that matters. Shouts out to the A and B cars. I'm gonna take the time and put some car emojis in the chat in reference to the A and B car. That's all that seemed to matter coming up in my world. I don't care how it look. All I care about is this car can get me from point A to B, whatever that was. There's an episode on Teen Titans when they talk about A to B cars, and Cyborg was explaining to the Teen Titans Go what it was. It was funny. It's like, all I need is a car that get me from A to B. I'm like, if that's all you want out of life, fine. But what about one day you want to go to point C, D, and E? Oh, I can't because my car's only designed to go to point A to B, whatever that is. Shouts out to the A and B cars. Shouts, SHOUT, out to the A and B. Shouts out to the A and B cars. Meow, meow, meow. There, I'm putting that in there. LOL. There. So, once again, overall build quality as far as Saturn car horror stories. Many owners complained about cheap plastic interiors and poor build quality, especially with later models like the Aurora. No, I keep calling it the Aurora. There is a car. I have that car on my mind because there was a model of an Aurora that was so dope. But this car is called AURA, so Aura. Models like the Aura, which was essentially an Opel Vauxhall rebadged as a Saturn. Man, that sounds bad, don't it? Discontinued brand Saturn's eventual discontinuation by General Motors GM also contributed to a negative perception of the brand, as it was seen as a failed experiment. How could it have been a failed experiment when my notes said that they came out in like the, what was it, 1980s, was that? Yeah, Saturn originally launched by General Motors in the late 1980s, according to AI. So how is that deemed a failed experiment? That's a long experiment. The experiment failed. We have failed conclusively. Shouts out to the Walk Hard movie. You have failed conclusively. Walk hard, hard down that long something road. Oh, meow, 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 meow. Do, 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 do. Something, 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 something. That was a fun movie. It's a really fun movie, Walk Hard. Oh, my husband and I like watching that. That movie's nuts. So discontinued brand Saturn's eventual discontinuation by General Motors GM also contributed to a negative perception of the brand, as it was seen as a failed experiment. I highly believe that, man. I don't believe that in its entirety. While some Saturn owners have positive experiments with high mileage and reliable performance, Particularly with the earlier models, the brand's overall reputation suffered due to these reoccurring issues. Anybody get stuck with a bad Saturn? I tell you, there was a girl in our neighborhood had a Saturn. There, she didn't have any complaints. I don't recall anyone driving around in a Saturn in my day and age, where they experienced bad issues. I've only experienced more horror stories in real life. My waking life, it was with Fords, unfortunately. I've only seen people and people complain, and I've seen it for myself in real life, bad experiences with Fords. I have not seen the Saturn cars suffer. Yeah, Tarsa said there are cool cars. I googled them. Yeah, I tell ya, it's so fun. How there must be engine oil in the water these days. You know, life is funny that way. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. That's why they say don't drink the tap water. But they've been saying don't drink out of the tap water. I started hearing that. Probably when I was 5 or 6. So the way my parents worked in their minds, they probably were saying that out loud while I was 3 years old. But don't drink out of the tap water started being actually cemented into my actual memory of practice. I was around late 5 years old, early 6, and they've been saying that ever since. So to each his own. Don't drink the tap water. Crying shame. And don't breathe the air. I suppose that's what's coming next too. Tell us anything to get us out of our happy headspace. What else do I have in reference to Saturn? Do they have a deep dive or did I just do that? Saturn horror stories? What? Yes, some Saturn models have been associated with problems that some owners have described as horror stories. While some Saturns were considered reliable by owners, just like Tarsus said, several specific models and model years were known for significant issues, including, here we go, Saturn L series. Shout out to the Saturn L series, specifically the 2.2 L 4-cylinder models. These vehicles, particularly from 2000 to 2005, are advised against by the North Carolina Consumers Council, known as the NCCC, due to a documented risk of a timing chain failure. Timing chain failure. What? This failure can lead to catastrophic engine damage and can leave drivers without power assist for steering and braking, especially at highway speeds. The NCC, known as the North Carolina Consumers Council, oh my gosh, points out that a limited recall for this issue left many owners unprotected. What? The NCCC points out that a limited recall for this issue left many owners unprotected, despite similar risk in their vehicles. That's sad. How? So it means to tell me that I can only assume that the warranty expired. How could that happen? It left many owners unprotected, despite similar risks in their vehicles. That's the only thing I can think of, that perhaps the what is it? That perhaps it went out that can lead to, what is it, the models of particularly from due to risk. The timing chain. I can only assume that the timing chain fell right after the warranty expired, leaving them unprotected. That's bad. That's what I'm trying to piece together. Saturn Ion. This model has been connected to serious safety recalls. Recall! Mostly notable for a defective ignition switch that could shift out of the run position, leading to loss of power steering, braking, and airbag deployment. Yikes! According to the Cochrane firm, GM faced criticism for delays in addressing this issue, says Gordon and Partners. Additionally, the Ion was subject to recall for power steering defects that GM knew about for years before taking action. That's scary because in life situations, for example, I had a job where I was constantly complaining about something where I didn't feel safe. They were like, yeah, blah, 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 yaggity smaggity. Exactly a year and a few weeks later, they realized that I was not crying wolf and actually caught the incident on camera. But just think, I had to deal with that for all that time. By that time, I had it with the job. I was over it. But that's sad because I'm saying that to say a lot of us people who are in here have to endure a lot of crap before someone actually gets it. It's not like you're trying to make them get it because you're a brat or you just cannot deal with life. But if it's something that serious that could interfere with your livelihood, it's deemed worthy of reporting. But I tell you, that's trash, and I feel sorry for all these people here. Because that's another day in the life of living in this planet. That should be taught in class. Because a lot of these kids are falling out, man. They don't know what to do with themselves. Life is hitting hard. It's always been hitting hard. But how to deal and find a healthy way to cope with life and the unfairness of it, it's not properly taught. Yes, it's supposed to be taught in the home. Yeah. But I think one small class carved out of each day for at least 20 minutes, if they scale back 10 minutes from each class, putting a how to deal with life class would help. That's all I'm saying. So back to these sad stories in reference to this vehicle. GM faced criticism for delays in addressing this issue, said Gordon and Partners. Additionally, the Ion was subject to recall for power steering defects that GM knew about for years before taking action. Saturn VU. This SUV, while generally rated as reliable, has specific problems reported, including transmission issues like erratic shifting or failure. Engine misfirings, and a defective ignition that allows the keys to be removed in the on position, increasing the risk of rollaway. Risk of rollaway? What about the people in San Diego Hills? Dang. Transmission problems, specifically related to a brittle 3.5R wave plate. 3.5R wave plate was brittle. Were particularly common in V6 VU models up to year 2010, requiring costly transmission rebuilding or replacement. How did this happen? How did they allow it to go on so long with bad parts? This is sad. Saturn C2. While some owners found the Saturn SC2. While some owners found the SC2 reliable with proper maintenance, according to Facebook users, one user described a 1993 SC2 with 120,000 miles as underwhelming and in the shop consistently, needing a timing chain, radiator, alternator before the transmission failed only after 30,000 more miles. That is a nightmare. What's going on, Chris Carter? Thank you for coming in. Today I'm just chilling with my cool peeps, and I'm talking about the Saturn vehicle. I missed that car, and I'm like, where the H is it? What happened to it? I'm learning a lot of stuff, It's really cool because I'm basically picking up from where I left off when the early 2000s of wondering what happened to my baby, the Saturn car. With the help of AI overview, I'm able to catch up. Catch up, no mustard. Yeah. I like that. We got to change. We got to be the change we want to see in the world. That's exactly it. Can you imagine if 1,000 people from each city did that? The world would instantly be better. So basically, if we all minded our own business and focused on things internally, which is yourself, and did the best to do better, the world will turn around so quick. That's that Thanos snap. But the Thanos timing is actually a real theory. It's just what Jose G just said. And it's in the form of we got to be the change we want to see. The Thanos snap is real. That's why we have so many distractions, y'all, so we don't become contagious in a positive way by choosing to do good every day. We can lead by example in silence, go to work every day, be your best every day. That rubs off and people do watch. And it rubs off eventually. They're not trying to have that happen. Oh, it's a little bit more in here. Little bit more, a little bit more. Little bit more, a little bit more. While these are not universal experiments for Saturn owners, they highlight that certain Saturn models or model years were more prone to significant and potentially costly failures. Potentially costly failures, which could be considered horror stories by those who encountered them. AI responses may include mistakes. So those are some examples of the issues that people had problems with when dealing with the Saturn vehicles. But like I said, in my lifetime of being around, I didn't hear too many complaints about the Saturn. I've heard tons of complaints and still see to this day accidents with Ford vehicles. As I hang my head in shame. Why? Why, Ford? Why? Do better, Ford. Please do better. Do better. Dang. So I take a small break to get a sip of water. Today I didn't do a survey. Thanos took the easy solution. He was weak-minded and could have made a better solution. He could have. In my mind, my interpretation was, since they can live so long, how long has Thanos been dealing with this and seeing things without change? Like you said, that goes into choice. Apparently, he got beat down so long with seeing the things that he could not, what is it? Apparently, he started seeing some of the things, a predictive future. He kept seeing so many of the patterns that just led in his mind and his eyesight a repetitive pattern that always ended, according to his view, the end, impending doom. Just thinking for a week in Thanos' time, if he chose to fight a little harder, put a little more initiative in his thought processes of thinking of a positive end game or thinking of a positive result or positive outcome, that perhaps it could have shifted his thinking of predictiveness. It can be so heavy when you think of that. Thank you so much for that, Rhombus Rubus. Thanos took the easy solution. He was weak-minded. It could have made a better solution. Yes, he could have. It's kind of like the situation we are in now. Aliens are here, and people are like, F it. I'm ready to, let's just go. Let's end it all. Everybody crazy anyways. I'm tired. It's kind of like that. That's where we are now. So, having said that, we had to get in gear to change our thinking. Let's start imagining better positive end results for ourselves first. If it's looking like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, if it's looking bleak, start to imagine the polar opposite of that, because everything comes with thought, right? So that's dope on there. Hang on, I got a text message. Yeah. Hang on. Text message. Respawn. All right. Cool. So that's what I think. So thank you for putting that in there. So yeah, Thanos is that purple guy from the
Dear Mr. Fantasy, play us a tune, something to make us all happy.
The end game. Meow meow meow. I have another article loaded up in here in reference to the Saturn car. Where is it? Maybe it's in a separate tab. There it is. I clicked on it and it's like, no, I'm tired. Don't read me. Let me minimize this and oh, there it is. That's why I didn't find it, because it's behind the other mirror thingy. Whatever you call it. Not mirror. Behind the other tab. The Saturn will make a comeback if it was in the next Fast and the Furious movie. Yeah, I agree. My husband was saying the same thing. Some of the cars that we missed that we want to see, if they put it in that movie, it will bring it back. That's it. That's all. What? Hercules is texting. Yeah. Hercules is like, what are we going to be talking about Friday? I'm like, bro, that's your job. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. Please hang up and try your call again. I know that's right. Yeah, Hercules will be on tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he's got to talk about on Fish Fry Fridays. That dude is something else. Let me refresh my page so I can be on the loop. There's another thing I've typed in my tabs far as the Saturn card that I want to read out of curiosity. Minimize. Let me close some of these tabs. Make this smaller. Pull up my article. Okay, there it is. Scoot you over out of the way. You guys ever open the tabs and make them smaller so you can have a couple of tabs on both page, 2 tabs on one page? Well, that's what I'm doing. But right now, when I click on any portion of the tab, the window keeps opening up too big. And I'm like, no, I need to see the other tab so I can read out loud this article. Too many. How many Fast and the Furious movies have been made? Too many of them. AAGT and the Heezy. Mike Rolfinchek. All right, let me go back here. Come on, article. There we go. Okay. Early models. I want to see, there it is. So they did use that word. There was, I was wondering out loud when I was reading one of the articles, whether or not the Saturn car was big or not. I'm like, well, I'm a small woman. I'm done growing and I have a tiny body. So to me, the Saturn car was perfect. It wasn't big at all. It wasn't small at all. But I was saying during my time, when the Saturn was out, they were using the word compact a lot. So here it is. I typed in Saturn car, and AI overview is giving a description of like the size of the said car. For example, it's got early models. It's got the Saturn SL, a compact sedan, and coupe known for its dent-resistant plastic body, panels, and no haggling prices. Saturn SC, a sporty coupe. Later models, Saturn Ion, a compact car that replaced the S series. Saturn VU, a compact crossover SUV. Saturn Relay, a minivan. Saturn Sky. Saturn Sky is a sporty roadster. Saturn Aurora, a midsize sedan, Saturn Outlook, a larger crossover SUV, Saturn Astra. Don't that sound nice? A Saturn Astra. Thank you for purchasing your Saturn Astra. I hope that with your vehicle everything is to your liking. If not, please give us a call and we'll refer you to our maintenance people where you can file a complaint. Saturn Astra, a small car introduced to replace the Ion. So in reference to these Saturn cars, the only car that used the descriptive word far as size of small is the Astra. So there's got to be a difference between a small car and a compact car. Now I saw a compact car. Remember those tiny little cars Steve Urkel used to drive before they became popular? On Family Matters, it was his electric car. And it basically looked like SpongeBob's paddy wagon car from SpongeBob SquarePants' first movie. Remember the paddy wagon car that SpongeBob and Patrick was in? That's how Steve Urkel's car for Family Matters looked. It sat two people, it was tiny, and the door swung out and opened from the front. And it was Laura in there and Urkel was in there, and he was trying to like drive her to college or something like that. But that's so funny, man. Isn't that funny? So the Saturn Astra is the only car that they use the language of it being a small car. And it was introduced to replace the Ion. Sometimes I wonder with these cars, if it's working, why would you change it? They make the biggest mistakes of doing stupid stuff like that. If the car is working, why would you change just change the body of it? We need to step it up to the future. The only thing you need to step up to the future of a body of a car, if everybody's loving it just the way it is to just put the thing on it, made this year, and roll it on down the line. Just roll it on down the line. You don't have to tweak it. This reminds me of all the women, unfortunately, butchering their bodies on the surgery table. What you doing that for? By the time you look around, you're going to be like, this ain't the car that I once had. No, because you kept on tweaking it because it's a new year, new me. What can I do to change to make myself look different? Whatever happened to the simplicity of just wearing a wig to make yourself look different for 5 minutes? What happened to just changing your nail polish? What happened to the simple things, or upgrading your wardrobe a little bit? You don't gotta go to the table. Shouts out to all the cars that stayed the same. Well, cars stayed the same. That's why they invented these car shows, to remember the cars that are no longer with us, per se. I shake my head. There was a car show on maybe 2 summers ago, so it seems, on TV. And it was a Pontiac car in there from the early 2000s. And I just shook my head because it's like, are we really there at that time for that car to, was it the Pontiac Grand Am? I think it was the Pontiac Grand Am. I'm like, are we really there at that time for the Pontiac Grand Am to be deemed to be ushered into the car shows now? Really? I sound like my mama them. Yes, my mama them. When they was like, I like our cars better. But the thing is, though, I actually like my parents' cars better. I like the cars that are out when I grew up in too. However, I like my parents' cars as well. So we do agree on that. From my parents' times, I really liked their vehicles. They were dope, man. They were sturdy. It's like if you got an fender bender, you could live to fight another day. You didn't have the insurance people talking about, so what serial got into a fender bender? That's gonna up your insurance for $1,600 now. I'm like, it's a effing fender bender. And I told the lady, it's okay. You don't gotta do nothing. I'm just gonna roll with this. We don't gotta exchange insurance. My car made out worse than yours. Your car don't have a scratch on it. Mine's is bust to high heaven, but I'm cool. I'm cool. We don't gotta report this because the insurance gonna be more than the actual car. Let's just pretend this never happened. You stay in your car. I'm just gonna drive away.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. High five. That's why people be hitting the car, getting hit, doing these hit and runs. The insurance costs more than the actual car. People are worried about the wrong things. It says here, key features and history, unique sales approach. Unique sales approach. Saturn was initially conceived as a separate brand with its own unique sales and service approach, including no haggling prices. Now, this is the third time that was brought up. So, is it true? Once upon a time, was Saturn deemed an easy car to buy, meaning you didn't have to sit around the table with a pot of coffee and try to finesse the dealership to lower the price $25 more. Was it easy at the time to just get a car or not? Yes, Jose, a moment of silence for the cars at that moment. Who? And that's our moment of silence for the cars. Gotta restore the cars that are worth fixing. Isn't that the golden truth? My car at the moment is that's funny. That's cool. Cars are really cool. So there's gotta be compact, small car, standard car, sedan, or an XYZ. But reading that, there's two different types of small cars, compact and small. That's pretty cool. Let me type that in there. Let me how can I ask this? There are different styles. Like the compact and what? So I'm asking a question in AI overview because once I finish reading this, out of curiosity, personal curiosity, I want to know what the answer is. So key features and history and reference of the Saturn car. Saturn for a time was known for high owner satisfaction and strong sales figures. GM bankruptcy. Saturn, also along with other GM brands, was discontinued in 2010. RIP. Potential for revival. There were attempts to sell the Saturn brand to companies, but these ultimately failed. It failed. Wow, the Cadillac CTS was my dream car. A dream car. Now, aren't those glorious memories? That's also a great fail-safe when you buy things out of your control, guys. Sometimes thoughts pop in your head and you're like, that's not even me. You're right, those aren't your thoughts. So in order to debunk those thoughts that you know that aren't your own, be from evil entities trying to get you off your square of progression, think of your dream car. It's a quick debunker. Quick debunker, and instantly takes you off into a thought process of a happier time in that moment. Sometimes all you need is a quick thought to get you out of a groove that wasn't yours in the first place. It's just like going to Barnes and Noble's bookstore and you love going to the magazines, and there's a specific magazine you like to get, like from the car section or the music section. But you also know, mixed in with those magazines, though you'll know exactly what you want to get. There's magazines that might not fit comfortably with who you are. You're still going to see those magazines. So just know that's how thoughts work. You have a set train of thought, other thoughts come in whether you want them there or not because of how you're targeting your life. So magazines, you're going for Auto Body magazine, you're at Barnes and Nobles, you see other magazines there that don't suit your interest. You still see them. So it's up to you in that moment to get your magazine or just stay focused on said magazine without entertaining the thought of the surrounding magazines that could be distractions for you or give you no interest. That's how the thought process basically works. The battlefield of the mind. Our beautiful, precious minds, guys. That means yours too. I want to read this and perhaps wrap it up right here. I'm curious about the various technical verbiages of the vehicle as far as the size of the cars. So I'm getting ready I'm gonna get ready to read it off for my own amusement here. Besides compact and small, also subcompact, other common passenger vehicle other size classes include. Shouts out to AI Overview. Thank you for being an abundance of information for me. This was fun. So we have here, let me put this in here. Mini compact, also known as A segment or city cars. These are the smallest vehicles available. Guys, there's something smaller than a small car. It's called a mini compact. Mini compact, also known as A segment or city cars. These are the smallest vehicles. They probably mean moped. Moped. Meow, meow, meow. Let me copy and put what else is in here? And what else? I wonder why it's not. I'm gonna have to fix my notes. There. We have, yeah, it's a tin can. So you either have two options, the tin can vehicle or the moped for mini compact. Then there's mid-size or intermediate. Offering more space than compacts, these vehicles strike a balance between size and maneuverability. Man, that's a long word. Maneuverability spelled MANEUVERABILITY. The word maneuverability has the word main in it. You know, shoulder main, MANE. Uber ability, maneuverability, yamming. Then we move over to full size or large. These vehicles provide the most interior passenger and cargo space. These classifications are often based on a combination of interior, volume, length, width, and curb weight, according to Wikipedia. Now, it seems to me, I honestly thought there were more categories to cars. Unless they just shrunken it down to be simplistic, there's got to be more to that. Well, you know, a minivan, that's a big car, but it's a minivan. We have mini compact, subcompact, compact, mid-size. There it is. It's in the deeper dive. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Cute, ugly cry. I'm not crazy. So I found it in the deeper dive. I'm not crazy. Oh, gravy train dog food. Here's the answers to my question in the deeper dive. There are different sizes of vehicles like the compact, small, and what it has here. Here are some common vehicle size classifications. Micro compact, microcar. These are the smallest vehicles designed for city driving and often with relaxed licensing requirements in some regions. That's good to know just in case you guys do need transportation, want to be independent. Many compact micro vehicles, often with relaxed licensing requirements in some regions. Examples include the Smart Fortwo and Fiat 500. Maybe that's something you may want to check into. Subcompact Super Mini. These are slightly larger than the micro mini compacts and are popular in Europe and the UK. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency defines them by a combination interior and cargo volume of 85 to 99 cubic feet, y'all. Examples include the Ford Fiesta and the Hyundai Accent. Not only in this deep dive are they giving me more detailed verbiage, it's also giving me examples to go by so I can really put a face to the car of the definition. I think that's really dope. Compact small family car. To me, that seems like a popular car size. The segment comma, larger than subcompacts, is popular in Europe and North America. The U.S. EPA defines compact cars as having a combined interior and cargo volume of 100 to 109 cubic feet. Examples include the Honda Civic
and the Toyota Corolla.
Sit down. Mid-size large family car. These cars are larger than compacts and are popular for their balance of space and durability and drivability. Really? The EPA defines mid-sized cars having a combined interior and cargo volume of 110 to 119 cubic feet. Examples include, here we go, I like these examples. Toyota Camry, and Volkswagen Passat. Now this is where I'll pause. Like it says here, mid-size, this will be considered in the mid-size large family car division. Examples include the Toyota Camry and Volkswagen Passat. And that's what I thought too, as an educated guess. I'm like, this seems like the most popular size car, because when I'm looking in the background of my mind of seeing vehicles from growing up and to now, it's always those medium-sized cars. And it don't necessarily have to do with family. It's just because a lot of people travel now. The world is different. People are more brave. Some people don't want to fly airplanes, and it's still less expensive to drive in cars and commute and stuff. So while people are commuting, they need cargo space to breathe. And people take breaks in their car. They don't want to be boxed in with those people they see every day at work. They take a break in their car, right? They take a break in their car and they want space and comfort. I get it. And the tailgate people. It's so much fun now in this day and age. Full-size large car. These are the largest passenger cars, typically offering a generous amount of passenger and cargo space. The EPA defines large cars as having an interior, combined passenger and cargo volume. My educated guess would be like the SUV and the minivan, right? Oh, there was a good moment when I wanted to get a Scion TC210. It's a Scion TC 2010 part. Yeah. Part for me is glad that I didn't get it, but it was a nice small vehicle, come to think of it. Yes. So, in the name of downsizing, shout out to that movie, considering the smaller vehicle, seeing if it works into your life now that things are changing, because you still can have the best of everything, but you have to think about how to downsize it to have all those things happen. Considering a smaller car might be in your bag right now. But you know what? You'll still be able to get from point A to point B. You'll still have your freedom. And I'm quite sure the insurance might be cheaper. It's a lot of things to think about, but it's a good thing to think about. If there's a way you can effectively cut costs and fully think out how making your car smaller will help you more or hurt you less, you have to scale it out. Considering a smaller vehicle might be the ticket. I am on full size large cars. Thank you for that thought button. These are the largest passenger cars, typically offering a generous amount of passenger and cargo space. The EPA defines large cars as having an interior combined passenger and cargo volume of 120 cubic feet or more. Another thought before I'm in the midst of wrapping this up. The last thing I'll be reading is about the size of vehicles. For those of you who share, or what do they call it, room and board, or like rent a room, but you're all friends, but you live under one house and just rent a room or just do stuff like that. If you guys are that close, consider having a designated driver who's willing to just let that be his or her one sustainable solid job or side hustle job for supplementary income. So he or she can basically be living at the house on call, being your personal driver, because then that will eliminate you guys having to each independently pay for car insurance. Or if a few of you in the house are willing to do that, and definitely have some paperwork down that, we agree to pay so and so X amount of money each week to be our personal chauffeur, that'll really help with you guys' community living if you're willing to do that in reference to a full-size large car. We are all in this poop show together on planet Earth, and we all are trying to find economic and efficient ways to still do life in a comfortable and as possible way, also knowing we had to downsize. So that's another thought too. I'm here to help when the thoughts come. I am willing to share with you guys something you can kick around with the family to help make your world a better place. The EPA defines large cars as having an interior combined passenger and cargo volume of 120 cubic feet or more. Examples include the Chrysler 300, and the Chevrolet Impala. Y'all, isn't that the minivan of cars if you don't want to drive a minivan? I like minivans. They're so cute. I'm not sure if it's because I'm a girl and a mom. Minivans are so awesome. They're so fun to drive. It's like I'm driving a spaceship. But Chrysler 300, shouts out to you and the Chevrolet Impala. If you don't want to drive a van, pick up a Chrysler 300 or a Chevrolet Impala because it says it right here. It's a full-size large car. Dope. Luxury cars. Now we're moving into the luxury cars, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who have a little more money to burn, and for those of you who are frugal, who come across the luxury car on someone's yard, they're just trying to get rid of it. Those are the days. Those are the little miracles we hope for. To find the car that we like in our price point, parked in someone's yard saying, take this car off my hands for $3,000. I'm like, thank you. This is the car. Those are the days, guys. Luxury cars. These vehicles are categorized by their premium features, materials, and overall quality. They can span different sizes, which is true, including compact executive cars like the Audi A4. All right, the Audi A4. Or to the full-size luxury cars like the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Somebody did type and mention BMW earlier in the chat about 45 minutes ago. Sports performance cars. These vehicles prioritize handling and acceleration. Often featuring high-performance engines and specialized designs. Examples include the Porsche 911 and Lamborghini Aventador. You guys, Lamborghini is spelled really weird. I'm going to spell it out loud. It's Lamborghini. GHINI, Lamborghini. Pass on the Lambo. I'll have me one of those cute little putt cars that are so cute in a heartbeat. Sport utility vehicles known as SUVs. For those of you who don't want to be partake in the minivan life, there's also SUVs. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Luxury cars have more components that will break and cost more. Exactly. That's the thing. Even if you do want a luxury car, you can find them if you are not picky. They'll have to be years old, but you still can get one. Having said that though, just like Rhombus Rubus said, the components cost more. But if you are a person who still has a different price point than some of us, you still can get a luxury car that's used. Let's just say 5 years older, 7 years older, 8 years older, depending on if you like vintage or not. It's still a luxury fancy car. You still might be able to make that work, having some money left over for expenses, far as heaven forbid, but it happens to all of us, even the wealthy people. You run into a pothole, you tear up something. You ready to cough up a grand or two or few? If you have it in your lifestyle to be able to set aside $3 grand minimum, $3 grand max to pour into your luxury car that you did find somewhere, used, 7, 8 years old, by all means, go for it. That's in your price point, but you still can be balling on the budget even while you're wealthy, depending on if you're not snobby about it. So thank you for that comment, Rhombus Rubus. We have sports performing cars. These vehicles prioritize handling and acceleration, often featuring high performance engines. I know I read this already, and specialized designs. Examples include the Porsche 911 and Lamborghini Aventador. Sports utility vehicles known as SUVs, the minivans competition. These are characterized by their elevated height or their elevated ride height, wagon body style, and often includes features like all-wheel drive, known as AWD, or four-wheel drive. I love four-wheel drives. It's safer. Four-wheel drive for 4WD. They range in size from compact to upper large and are popular for families or those needing additional space and versatility. Shouts out to the Jurassic Park people. They are always in SUVs, right? So is that true, Rhombus Rubus? You're just paying for the brand, not the quality? I always thought, and always have been told in my circle, great to expand my mind, that the prices were just expensive because they're coming from overseas. So before there was a tariff situation, the prices cost more because of that. Man, that's another perspective to think of here. Minivans. Why do they say minivans for last? It's like AI is hating on minivans. The minivans is the last car. Even AI overview probably don't like minivans. It's like minivans, those things are the things of the past. We don't want a minivan. So minivans are last in line far as the description of the size of vehicles. Designed for passenger and cargo hauling, minivans typically offer multiple rows of seating and generous interior space. Not multiple rows of seating. Is this a movie theater? Oh my gosh, that's funny. So generous, it says offer multiple rows of seating and generous interior space. Examples include the Chrysler Pacifica and Toyota Sienna. Now, I did a little research about 2 years ago. It seemed like a couple of minivans were on the chopping block because something was happening that was very important that shouldn't be happening. But it was messing up on these vehicles and they had national recall. That's not comforting because what if I was seriously considering getting a minivan? I would have probably got into some trouble. Shouts out to Bernie Mac, rest in peace. In closing on here, remember that the vehicle size classification and specific vehicle examples can vary depending on the country or organization doing the classification. And minivans, aka party bus. Oh my gosh. AI responses may include mistakes. Once again, AI responses may include mistakes. Shouts out to all of you guys and AI Overview for providing this chronological information. Remember not to take everything as full gospel by way of AI Overview, but definitely use it as a concordance to help guide you through your thought processes as you still seek to study and show yourself approved in all things, including learning about a car and about yourself. I'm having a really good time on here, and I've had a good time on here, if that makes sense, chatting it up on the live with all of you guys. Thank you for getting the likes in the chat up. I appreciate it. I've been getting so many likes now, like this year and this time in my life. Thank you for sharing out the content. How I know it's shared is because I get and you all too, if you're content creators, weekly reviews of what's going on. And it shows that over 100 of you share my content out every week. That's a lot. I talked about Saturn Cars today, and I had a great time learning things, going back in time, remembering stuff. And it even brought some healing because it helped me, because of you guys in this topic, figure out another way I can, connect with my dad, at least if we're talking specifically on cars and General Motors in reference to the Saturn car. That's really cool. We also even chatted about mending fences and just taking care of the world around you, starting with yourself. In order to heal the world, it starts with you. And by natural default, everyone in your world, or who you work with, who you see on the daily, who see you, the people who see you and the ones who you don't think see you are seeing you. So they'll be able to watch and see you and the changes and the development. You are leading by example. And that's your world. And it affects their world. So a lot of people, just by existing, who you help touch. So it's an amazing thing. And our deal is to reverse the Thanos snap situation. I like that conversation, how we segued off to that. How Thanos took the easy way out to make the world a better place by just eradicating it. But please be advised, this is currently where we are now, since the aliens are allegedly here. Let's not take the easy way out and say, let's just get rid of everything. It starts with seeing it for what it is, the moment that we are at in hand, right? And imagining it being a better place. All things come from a thought. All things come from a thought. So let's work on changing our thoughts. If you have a bad thought that comes into your mind and you know it's not your thought, you're right. So run away from that thought by thinking something polar opposite, like ice cream sandwiches. As silly as it may sound, but just like, TF, ice cream sandwiches. Why am I thinking about ice cream sandwiches? Well, I'd rather think about ice cream sandwiches than something that's very bad. Whatever you have to do that's positive to keep you going, far as good thoughts, I hope that you do it. Watching Animaniacs, Looney Tunes, your favorite cartoons, Captain Planet, Harry Potter. If people in your house are clowning you because you decide to reach for childhood things that make you happy, stand firm in it because it'll save your life. My name is LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Thank you guys. Thank you. You all have a good day. Take care. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. And I'll see you guys Monday. Hercules the Shark will be on tomorrow. Heaven knows what he's going to talk about. I'll have to talk with him today. We're going to have a conference call actually over breakfast. So My husband and I will be eating breakfast, and we're going to have a conference call with Hercules the shark. I don't know if I want to eat my food while Hercules the shark is on speakerphone, because I don't know what's going to come out of his mouth, and I might start choking. So wish us both luck as we talk with him today. Hercules will be here tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Be safe out there. Have a good one. Bye. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen.